What I'm starting to realize as I get older and more educated and wise and becoming Master Oogway just as a white boy and a twink, I start to realize there really is no such thing as a bop or, a male bop or a male whore or any of that shit. There is no such thing, bro. It's just a lot of hurt people. I started to have a realization that there really is no such thing as a whore. I mean, most of these people are like just normal people. What I mean by most of this shit is that there are sex workers and people like that and shit, but I'm talking specifically in like relationships and like bouncing around to different people and like all that other shit. No, there isn't such thing as an actual whore. It's somebody that's trying to find love. Might be a crazy opinion to some of you motherfuckers, but I'm just gonna be for real with you. We all had that one homeboy who had his fucking heart broke by one singular girl, and afterwards has become the worst person on the fucking planet, at least with women, because I swear to God, he gets with 15 of them and then breaks each one of their individual hearts just because one girl fucked them up. They feel so much resentment for that fucking one girl that they lost. They have no other feeling of love for any other woman. They've been drained out of all of their love because that one girl had literally took everything that they had. And the craziest part is that the same shit probably happened to that same girl, and then she got fucked over by a guy, and it's just a continuing situation that progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I'm gonna use the example of my homeboy and his homegirl, because he fell in love with this homegirl. He loved this homegirl to death. I'm just gonna call this motherfucker, my friend anyway, E. E and B were best friends forever. Literally, I didn't even come to the school that they went to yet, and he just fucked with me heavy, and that's how I got in this little fucking friend group and shit. And I didn't really fuck with most of them, but I fucked with him heavy, and I genuinely had a real connection with that motherfucker because he actually fucked with me, and he understood most of the shit that I liked, and like, we just bonded over shit like that. He was really close with homegirl, and I was also close with her too. I mean, like, I wasn't the closest person to her, but she actually did fuck with me too. Not the heaviest, of course, but I'm just saying, like, she actually did like me as a person, and I was like kind of like their third wheeler. I would just go around with them. But the thing is that E also had a bunch of other girls that were around him, but the thing is that it was obviously his homegirl. She's just down for anything that he wants to do, whether it's to give up some pussy and fuck it or just hang out. It's just like she was always down for anything with him, and she genuinely cared for him and what he was. When he started smoking weed and shit with me, she kind of got concerned and shit, but of course I was over there parenting that motherfucker, and we were just not that high anyway. He's also the same motherfucker that gave me like my first hit of like a cart in like the first place, because I told y'all that story before, but the thing is I haven't re-uploaded it on this channel yet. You'll see it later. Regardless, E and B were really fucking close since like fucking grade school, so I just had like third wheel. But E also had this girl named T, and T, well, she was a fucking freak. The thing about T is that T had a boyfriend at the time, but T also was still trying to get down with E. And of course, E doesn't want to really be a homewrecker. He's not like that. He's not that type of person. If you're single, you're single, and he'll get with you and mingle. That's the type of motherfucker he is. He's not trying to be a disingenuous person. And also, T's boyfriend was also his homeboy. He wasn't trying to fuck up that connection either. But eventually, it got to the point where he just couldn't take it anymore. She blew him off inside of his residence, and it caused a drift in every single relationship that he had with everybody, except me, really, because I didn't really give a fuck. I mean, obviously, it was a bad thing that he shouldn't have done, but when you keep consistently getting pressed over and over and over and over and over again, it's kind of like peer pressure. If motherfuckers keep asking you to drink this fucking alcohol at a party, you will eventually do it, bro. You are not any better than anybody else. Peer pressure is so fucking, like, overbearing that it's just terrible, and that's what he succumbed to. So after that, he had a drift between him and his homeboy, and they actually almost fought in school. So he got to the point where there was a party afterwards, so it was after school, and they were supposed to both show up, but it might have gotten terrible if, E actually showed up, because supposedly that motherfucker was about to get blicked, because his homeboy also had homeboys that were murderers. At least supposedly. I don't really think there's that much gang life in my city. It's not as like genuinely terrible as Compton, but there's still gangs everywhere. It was supposedly a bunch of people that could actually bang, and they were present at the party. They were in attendance. But the worst part about it that actually made him cry in the middle of class was his relationship with B being broken. See, because after T sucked him off, she realized what happened and actually had word of mouth information through some of her homegirls. She was distraught at the fact that he was a homewrecker, and she didn't want anything to do with him, so she blocked him on IG and also on Snapchat, unfortunately. This motherfucker started bawling in front of me and actually in the back of class, and I tried muffling it by surrounding him and making sure that people couldn't actually see that he was weeping behind me. I had to comfort him throughout the day and work him out of his depression that he was going through so that he could actually, be a normal person. Felt better by the end of the day, but he still feels kind of heartbroken about it to this very moment that we're speaking. Still have no idea if him and that girl ever actually got back on better terms, but I'm starting to think that they show up to the same parties and shit, so I'm thinking that they're on better terms now. But regardless, this kind of sparked this intuition inside of him to just kind of fuck with girls, because afterwards, the actual day after, I'm pretty sure, this motherfucker started fucking with these two random girls, and they were always around him everywhere that they went. They were like his little groupies, and not only that, he had multiple different other girls that were already on his Johnson at the time. Each one of them wanted a taste of his Frank, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I can't really blame them. He's a sexy ass motherfucker with dreads and shit, I can't fucking blame them, but regardless, he turned into kind of a bop. But the thing is that he was really just hurt. He tried filling up that void with the multitudes of women that he had around him, and none of them can suffice like she did. So that turned him into kind of that type of person, and he just keeps on going after all these girls and running through them. Obviously, I cannot blame him for it, and I can't blame anybody exactly in the situation, but it's just a bunch of unfortunate events that led us to this very point in time. You can blame him for the fact that he's a homewrecker, but there's also a lot of pressure on him, so you can kind of understand. And he takes accountability for it. But regardless, that doesn't mean that he's undeserving of love or affection or anything, because, he's just not exactly a complete fucking whore. He's just misled, and that's how I can see a lot of these people. Every single one of them needs mental attention and emotional support, and I feel like that's the only thing you can provide them that will actually assist them. Doesn't mean you have to get with them, by the way. You can support them from a distance. You cannot fix that goth girl with daddy issues. I'm fucking sorry. At least if you can get a relationship with her, you can provide her support. Regardless, that's just how it is, bro. When they're finally over that shit, it will be fucking okay. And I know this for a fact. I'm literally basically the therapist of most of my friends. I've literally had years and years and years worth of people complaining to me about their problems and their love life, and I've literally had to be in front of their boyfriends with them, right next to them, talking about the shit that they've done and how to fix their problems. Trust me, it's a hard-bearing job, twin. It's really draining. But I do it for the fact that we don't have to have people like this that are misled in our actual lives. I try to help them as much as I can and genuinely give them support, because that's what a lot of people need. So if your local bop seems like a terrible person, she isn't. Even with the girls I'm surrounded by that are technically bops, they have great personalities and actually are genuine, real people. They care for me like nobody else, but I would never fuck them, because I don't feel that way about them. I just don't want to use them for their bodies. I don't want to have this toxic masculinity, Andrew Tate type of mentality. That's just not who I am as a person. You need to stop thinking that all of these girls are just like, whores that you can just use. You have to look at them as actual people instead of objects. And I know a few motherfuckers are gonna clown me for this. Oh my god, he reads feminist literature and he's 6'4" and he's a nonchalant redhead. But sometimes you need to read Frankenstein, bro. Mary Shelley has been writing that shit out. Be a feminist, bro. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling on and on and on and on and on about this shit and just leave you with this final thought in your head. Little B, the bass god, spreads positivity everywhere that he goes and no matter what, and he got jumped by A Boogie in the Hoodie and PNB Rock. When you realize in the future tense of that actual concert and what happened, he was supported by the entire rap community, by Travis Scott and G-Eazy and a whole bunch of other people, and saying that he needed to be protected for his positivity. Look at Lil B's career spanning years and years and years of consistently introspective, deep music and actual good lyricism and all this other shit that he did, and actually making the rap game what it is today. Listen to Frank Ocean. Spread that positivity, twin. And thank you, bass god. All things possible through Little B. Pray to bass god.